today's tip. Today we're going to be discussing the hack squat and why it might be a better alternative than a standard squat. So, for example, if you take someone like myself who has quite poor ankle mobility, if I put a bar on my back and was to squat down, to get adequate depth, I have to compensate by leaning forward a lot. If I had any weight here, it's going to put a lot of pressure through my spine, which is then going to be not very good for me. So, this machine is going to be very good for basically everyone to target the quads, isolate the muscles, and especially for beginners, just to learn how to squat properly in a safe environment. If we look around on the side, I have attached some resistance bands. So the reason I've done this is that this machine does run on a rail. Because it runs on a rail, this machine will weigh 25 each side, the whole movement, but we know that the muscles and machines shouldn't work like this. So by using the bands, it's going to make it lighter at the bottom and then heavier at the top, is how the squat should be. So, if we come into this machine, you can adjust the height depending on your limb length. Here, bands attached to the top and onto the handles here of the pegs. So, foot position is just going to be dependent on where we get more depth. So for me, I am more of a wide squatter rather than shoulder width. All we're looking for quads is knee flexion, which is going to be a bend of the knee. So regardless of how narrow or wide I have, as long as I can achieve this, that's what I'm looking for. So width is going to be wherever you can create as much range as possible for your knee. So how this works, we have the shoulder pads here. I'm going to push into it, so here, these handles will pull in. All we're going to look for is a slow descent on the way down, just to knee flexion and up. What I see a few mistakes on this machine are people coming way too quick at the bottom and have a way back up, which will then cause their feet to rise, their heels to lift, and things like that. Something we want to take conscious effort on is the knees not caving in, like so. To do this, just think of pushing your knees out ever so slightly, just to here, but we don't want them to come all the way up that our ankle's going to roll off. So nice and slow, you can always set a couple of seconds down, pause here, and come up. If we do come too far down, what we might find is that my back has to lift off to overcompensate for the amount of depth, which is then going to take a lot of tension off the quads. If you want to keep tension, come down. For me, I'd come up just before extension, which is going to keep a bit more for us. And then when we're done, these handles will come back in and out. So, especially for beginners and even the everyday gym goer, using a machine is going to give us a lot of external stability and support, which means it's going to isolate us a lot better, put us in the right position for us, and it's going to enable us to push a lot harder without having to worry about our lower back, hamstrings, other muscles kicking in before we're ready for them to. And this is just going to enable us to perform it a lot safer. Use the bands to help you, because they do help and make the exercise better. And just take it at your own pace really. That's how I'd use the hack squat.